Ladies and gentlemen, the 200,000 subscriber Q&A episode on my YouTube channel. This is a big one. This is really important to me. As you can see, I'm in Chris's studio. I am not in my own. Mine is across the wall from this. I broke my tripod in the gym, so I'm using Chris's tripod, and his is like mounted to the studio, so I'm going to use the studio. It's pretty sweet in here. Anyways, before we get into the questions that I asked you guys on Instagram, on YouTube community, and my Patreon, before we get into those, I want to tell you a story of how this whole thing started for me and how I got to where I'm at right now. When I started making YouTube videos, I didn't really understand what YouTube was. I just thought it was a place where you could just put viral videos. I didn't really get that there were YouTubers. I thought I'd kind of seen them before, but I thought it was kind of a weird thing. And then somebody showed me Casey Neistat's video, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. You can take these projects, put them online, and see what people think of them. So I started to do that, but it was with my daily training. So I made these really snappy kind of cool edits of me going to the gym, saying some funny stuff, training, maybe doing some CrossFit training, whatever it was. And that was it. That was those were my intro to YouTube. And I put those videos on CrossFit Reddit. And this comment that this guy said changed my life. He said, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You're not that good looking. You're not that strong or good at CrossFit, and we don't know what your goals are. And my thought process was okay, well, Reddit's a really mean place, so fuck this guy. I'm not that ugly. But seriously, something kind of rang true with that. I didn't really have any sort of purpose that I had set out on YouTube. He had mentioned one other thing. He said, what are you good at? What can you teach us? And I was like, okay, I know what I'm good at. I am good at teaching the snatch and the clean and jerk. I am good at assessing what is the common issue in these two movements that are so elusive to so many people. I am good at having a set curriculum that is applicable to so many other people that people just aren't talking about, aren't putting out forward. I know that I can do that. I know that I can do that better than a lot of people. So my first video that I posted, I took all those vlogs down. They'll never see the light of day. I'll never show you guys those vlogs. They're pretty cringy. My first video was 2016, so April of 2016. We're just about near April here. We're in March of 2023. That video was 3 tips to snatching better or something like that. And in it, I describe, what typically happens with CrossFitters, how you can fix it, and that was it. And I remember that at that time, YouTube would give you emails every subscriber you got. And I got 25 emails, and I was ecstatic. And I got 150 views, and I was on top of the world, man. I felt amazing. I was like, you know what? I'm going to continue to do this. And so for the next 7 years, I put up at least one video per week. That's something, just uttering that is amazing to me. 7 years straight without missing a single week, without missing one video per week. And I got to be honest with you guys, I never really had that big viral break. It's probably because I'm not that good looking. I'm not that strong, and I'm maybe not that interesting. I never had that big break. I'm not a guy like Rich Froning who can just turn on the camera and work out and be compelling because he's amazing at working out. I'm not, some aesthetic guy who can just train. That's just not me. And I'll never be that. And so every person that I'm able to gain from doing what I'm doing is so unbelievably valuable to me. I had 1 month of 10,000 subscribers that I gained. And that was when I did the stuff about Liver King and with Derek for More Plates, More Dates. 1 month of 10,000. Other than that, it's been a complete steady gradient of going up. I never had a viral explosion. And I don't think I will, to be honest with you. And that's okay, because that's just not who I am. And, my followers and my viewers, they're just different, and I don't know. all I can say is that I have grown so much over these past 7 years, and this body of work means so, so much to me. And it always proves to me that like I can do this, you know, which is something that is like so scary, man. I'm telling you guys, that submit button on YouTube is very scary to me still. And I imagine it's going to be scary for this, but let's get into the questions. Pi.docx asked me on Instagram, what is the best and worst part of your job? The best part of my job is that I'm my own boss. And I hold myself accountable. My whole life I was on, team sports, working for teams. And I always gave myself this excuse of like, if you don't succeed, you can just point the finger at so many other people. I hate my boss. I hate my job. I hate my team, all this shit. Working for myself has relieved all of that because I have no excuse whatsoever if I don't do well. It's on me. And so that's been honestly such a gift. The worst part is, being pigeonholed into a certain spot in the algorithm. There are some videos that I'm like, oh my God, my subscribers would love this. They're like, the benefits that they would gain from this video, the instructions that I have on this video, and my subscribers will never even see it because the algorithm doesn't really push it to them. There's a lot of people that I subscribe to that I don't see their videos. So what I have to do is like kind of develop these videos. I still do what I want. I still will put out what I think is valuable to you guys, but I have to think of topics and videos that might go outside of my niche, but also be valuable to my niche. There's so much balancing that you have to do when you think about making these videos. It's interesting from my perspective. It's so different than your perspective. It's so different. People just open up YouTube and like they might see a Zack Telander video, but if you're subscribed, it should be like that should come up, but it doesn't. It's just not how it works. That's definitely the worst part. Jeff Debuse asks, if you could do a Max Out Friday session in any gym during any time period, what would it be? It would be the Astana gym in Almaty, Kazakhstan with Ilya Ilyin in probably 2015, I think it was, when he started, when he was going off. Some of the best training videos ever are in that room with Ilya. That would be it. Spencer Colucci asks, where did the no excuses, just improve line come from? I was on a podcast and I forget which podcast it was. And I explained it, and this was a long time ago. This was like 2016, 2017. And I talked about like, if you fail, great. I'll see you tomorrow. Who cares? I got this idea of like messing up and not giving a shit because we love this thing so much. It doesn't matter if we mess up because we're just going to do it again. What are we going to not, am I going to not snatch and clean and jerk when I'm absolutely obsessed with it? No. Like I'm just going to do it. So when I fuck up, I'm like, well, I'm just going to do it again and again and again and again and again. It's like, well, then I start to improve. So now there is no excuse holding me back from these micro improvements, and micro improvements are all I care about. I don't give a fuck about my goal. I just care about getting better than I am. This has always been my mindset in training. I hate goals. Me personally, if you have a goal, that's fine. I'm not here to argue why I think goals are dumb. Me personally, I don't have goals. I don't like goals, except for maybe the goal that I want to be better. That's it. I want to be better. I want to improve. That's my only goal. And if I set out to just improve, I'll do things that I never, ever thought that I could. I remember being in the gym one time and somebody said, man, I really want to snatch 275, which is 125 kilos, 275 pounds. And I remember being like, yeah, that's cool and all, but like, I'm still trying. I'm like, just in my own world. Like, yeah, that's a huge number, man. Great. Yeah, for sure. I never was like, yeah, you know what? That would be cool. But 3 years later, I did that. And then another year after that, I did that for a set of 2. And then another year after that, I do that for a set of 3. And then I start snatching 315 pounds. I never once was like, that's what I want to do. Never. But that's just me. That's how I feel. And no excuses, just improve reflects that. Rob Shilk says, what's the biggest lesson you've learned as a YouTuber? Wow. Low expectations, high standards. And it's kind of along the same line as what I had said previously, but this place, YouTube, this format, this, you could call it social media, is very unforgiving. And the moment that you expect things out of it is the moment that you lose. You lose. And it's the same thing with weightlifting for me. All I can do is be honest and do the things that I want and the things that I feel are good. And that's it. And that's how low my expectations are. But I have this high standard of trying to better myself. And in doing so, I can improve slowly and slowly. And that's something that, maybe I didn't learn that directly from YouTube. I kind of learned it from weightlifting, but weightlifting and YouTube for me have just always gone in the same, it's always been the same path. And YouTube's just helped me understand that even more. I still have to press that fucking publish button, and it's still so hard. It's like, I do it. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it every time. But it's like so much of me wants it to be like, I want this video to do well. And I refresh my YouTube Studio app to see. And so it's just something that's just been more enforced. So that's what I've learned, or maybe I haven't learned it, but it's just been more and more enforced by being a YouTuber. Dylan Johnson asks, do you have any dream guests for a Lift Companion? Dylan and I talked about this, and I think Tom Segura would be a good one, just because his transformation over time, I actually ran into him at the gym and we talked for a little bit, and he looked great. He looked like he was in great shape. And I think obviously he's a really funny dude, a really interesting guy, but his fitness journey has been really cool. So I think that would be the guy. When did you realize you wanted to coach athletes? That's from Coach Crow 55 on Instagram. I realized it probably in 2013. I started taking CrossFit classes, and then I started getting really serious into weight training and weightlifting, snatching, clean and jerking. And I started to get better than a lot of people. And I had these tips and tricks of how I did it, and I wanted to help them. And people were like, wow, you're really good at this. And so I went and got a CrossFit Level 1 certification. Then I got a USAW Level 1 certification, which is USA Weightlifting. Then I got CrossFit Level 2. Then I got USA Weightlifting Level 2. And then I got the National Strength and Conditioning Association Certified Strength Coach. I got that certification, which is a really hard certification to get. I got that. And I've got a bunch of other ones or whatever. But that's when I really realized it was like, man, I can help these people because like, this is how I did it. And I want to explain that to them. There's something that inside me that I was like, I really want to help. Clown Shoes and Glue asks, what was the last song you listened to? Okay, great question. It is How We Operate by Gomez. I remember hearing that like forever ago and loving it. And then Dylan has just been like obsessing over it. How do you keep the motivation going when life hits you hard and it starts to fall apart? This is like all that I care about, this right here. My demographic is primarily 24 to 35-year-old males, primarily in America. There's obviously globally, there's a decent amount of you. I don't expect 200,000 people to just be from the United States. But you're the group that is still trying to find their way in the world. And motivation and this will to just keep going, it does fall apart at times for me, for sure. And certain things that I fall back on are really just low-hanging fruit on things that are internal and things that are external that I put out into the world. So one of them is having a nice disposition. So every person that you interact with, try and make it a positive interaction for them. You would be unbelievably surprised at how much good can come from that. And don't make it fake. You don't have to be like, yeah, no, just give a shit about what the person who's across from you is saying, guys. Give a shit. One of the things that I said to myself when I was about to interview Matt Fraser, I was pretty goddamn nervous for this. You know, I was like, oh my God, I've got Matt Fraser this is at Wadapalooza. Like, no one was able to get Matt Fraser. I was. So it was a pressure situation. And I remember telling myself over and over again, just care. You've always cared about Matt Fraser. You've always admired him as an athlete and as a person. Don't change anything now. And it made for one of the best podcasts, I think, is with Matt Fraser. I was told by a lot of people, they're like, wow, we got some stuff out of Matt that we've never had before. And so the question is about what losing motivation, losing all these things. You might feel as though like you need to take actions towards yourself or I'm losing motivation. Like I got to trick myself. Like, no, take steps back and do really small things and you'll see your confidence build. And when your confidence builds, your motivation builds as well. Honestly, stop drinking. Stop consuming so much caffeine. Stop eating dog shit food. Those are really, really low hanging fruits. And I think caffeine, nicotine, drugs, whatever it may be, alcohol for sure. Stay the fuck away from alcohol if you're losing motivation. Because again, this is such a low hanging fruit. Like if you cut out one glass of alcohol has been shown to affect your sleep straight up. It's going to. You're going to metabolize it regardless of how good of sleep you think you're getting. You might not even be hungover in the morning, but it fucked your sleep up. Okay. So if you're struggling, just take that out. Okay. One other thing is like, if you're struggling, don't eat pizza. Don't eat the pizza. Maybe you can have some, start trimming off the really low shit and then start making it a little bit more and a little bit more. And what you realize is like, you won't need motivation to do something. You will need motivation to not do something. It's going to be difficult for you to not go to the gym because you're going to be scared about the person you might become if you don't go to the gym. If you don't, it's like, that's a good place to be. To a certain extent. That's a good place. That's where you want to get to, where it's like, man, I couldn't even fathom not going to the gym today. Super Soldiers WL. He asked, ever felt like the people on the top tried to slow you down? No. And the reason for that is YouTube and social media is actually big enough for a lot of people right now. Everyone can eat right now. And who's at the top for me? It's like Clarence, weightlifting house, like in this niche, I don't know. But I try to go outside of the niche when I think of really successful people, whether that's Derek from More Plates, More Dates, Greg, Doucette, Jesse James West, Lean Beef Patty, like these people are not people that are like that I'm that closely associated with, yet it's gym culture, it's things like that. So are they trying to hold me down? No. But the competitive nature of social media, it's kind of weird because like you're actually just competing against the algorithm. Like it's not really, and sometimes like the market can determine what's good, but you don't really have competitors. It's not we're all just kind of like, you know, that scene in Wolf of Wall Street where the guy's like, it's a woozy, it's a wazi. We don't know what, you know, it's a fugazi. We don't know which way it's going, up, down, whatever. That's how we're all kind of operating. Like, yeah, we can have a stronghold in like getting a certain amount of views and like being rigid, you know, show up to work on time, like punch in, punch out. That's what the guys on Wall Street did. But when it comes to the markets, dude, no one fucking knows what's going to happen. You can make educated guesses, but at the end of the day, no one knows. So it's hard to be like competitive, if you will. Giovanni Mula says you have a relatively niche account. I'm sure following was a little at the beginning. What kept you going? God, like I said, just the idea of improvement kept me going. That's it. Like I'm not kidding you guys. I don't have a goal. It's just to get one more subscriber. That's my only goal in this. And that's what kept me going. If it wasn't that, I would be done. I wouldn't be here right now. I can fucking guarantee you I would not be here right now. If I was like, I want to get to 1 million by this time or whatever. It's like, no, I simply put, just want to do better. I never had that big break. And so that's what kept me going. That's it. And honestly, like you guys, like there's so many cool and interesting people that are like much cooler and much more interesting than me that like comment on my shit, like really smart things that like they help me out. They help me learn things. And it's just so fun to interact. Like this is such a fun job. I get to interact with people and like, I just feel excited by it. Story Pobby, my boy, Blaine O'Connell asked, what would you do if you won the lottery? And honest to God, I love this question because the answer is I would do the exact same thing I'm doing right now. If I was $100 million richer, I would be here right now making this fucking video for you guys. Tomorrow, I would wake up and train and make more videos for you guys. I am not fucking kidding you. This is exactly what I would be doing. It's sick. It's awesome to think about. I feel very unlimited on what I can go do. Honest to God, I really do. That doesn't mean like, I'm fucking killing it. I'm the man. It's like, no, I just have this. The cool thing is like, I made this skit on Instagram the other day and I had this vision for it and then I shot it and I put it up and I was rewarded. People were like, this is great. To have that ability, and not only that ability, like a lot of people have that ability to produce cool shit, but to be lucky enough to get rewarded for it like that, it's an amazing feeling. It's a feeling that I don't want to get rid of. So give me $100 million. I'm going to continue doing this. That's why I love this question. This is what I want to be doing for you guys, for myself. How does exercise fulfill you? Stress relief, probably number one. It's me and me only when I'm exercising. I can zone out of the entire world. And like you have to, if you're working hard, like the only thing that matters is the lift. It's pushing down on you. It's killing you. And you have to push back. Like that's the main thing. Another thing is just seeing progress over time. Another thing also is like, if you go out into, the real world, seeing how much stronger you are than the average person after putting in decades of training is really cool. Stronger, fitter. These are things that are cool feeling. They make you feel good. They're not everything, but that's how it fulfills me. Finn McKenty says, no question, just glad we are friends. Thank you so much, Finn. Finn has an incredible channel called the Punk Rock MBA on YouTube, and he also has a channel with just his name, Finn McKenty. And it's been cool being able to meet people from YouTube and grow my network. I even got to meet Chris Bumstead and his editor, and like just meeting people like that has been really fun and really cool. Like I've been able to gain a bunch of knowledge from them, hear their stories, cautionary tales. All of that has come from doing what I do. And it's been awesome. Okay, this is a good one. If you could go back and restart your YouTube channel, what would you do anything differently? If so, what? If not, why? This is crazy. Like I can't think of an exact thing that I would do differently. I've did a lot. You guys, I've done a lot. I swear to you, I've put in, I want to say, I don't know how much money I've put into this, but if I think about travel, and, equipment and expenses, it's so much money. Okay, here's a great example. Alexei Tarakti was going to be in Anaheim for the World Championships. I wasn't planning on going, but I DM'd him at the time and I said, I'll be there. Like, that's cool that I'm going to be there too at the same time. He said, great. I hadn't bought my ticket yet, but I heard he was going to be there. So I bought my ticket, got there. He said on like Instagram or somewhere, he's like, we will be training at 9 a.m. Awesome. I got to the Eleiko booth at 8:30 and just stood there and waited. And then they showed up. I go, oh my God, I'm training here too. It's a funny story, right? But these are the things that I would do. I would spend $10,000 just to show up and have a camera and get content with Alexei. Like, that sounds so desperate, so pathetic, but like, this is how important this was to me. This is everything to me. I used to use copyrighted music because I didn't want the fucking money from this shit. I just wanted my YouTube channel to grow. There are certain things that I did on this that I don't know many people would do. And again, this thing is only at 200,000, like relatively to the YouTubers of today. It's not that much. But for me, it's like, I never had that break. So it was so long, so much effort, so many hard, well thought out videos that took me to get here. And yeah, it's just the things that I would do for this channel, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, we're now to the YouTube questions. Freaky D, my mans. When, what, who was your most memorable, holy shit, I'm talking to this person experience that's come from being a YouTuber? Honestly, I don't really feel that anymore. I would say talking to Tom Segura was pretty crazy. But we talked for 25 minutes straight in the gym because he's just a good dude. And we had some connections through Mark Bell and his trainer, Tom Segura's trainer. So we were able to just chat in the gym. I think I probably would not have been able to talk to that person because I wouldn't know Mark and I wouldn't know his personal trainer. So that was a pretty big one. I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, meeting Chris Bumstead, meeting Tom Segura, it just felt natural. It just felt like part of the job, I'm not trying to sound cool. Yeah, meet these guys. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal, but it still feels, I swear to God, it just feels natural. It feels like part of the gig. What are the chances of you getting Dennis Rodman on the podcast? That's the second part of the question. Honestly, I just dropped my phone. Sorry, I'm going over here and coming back. I don't think that it's that small, dude. Crazier things have been done. That's a great one, though. Getting Dennis Rodman. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Okay. Congrats, Zack. If you could be an elite competitor in any other sport than those you currently are involved in, what sport would it be? Surfing. The reason for surfing is there's this visceral, the wave is so amazing to think about. It's so crazy to think about that there is a sport that is determined by nature. And yet there are people that succeed without just luck. There's a lot of luck involved in surfing, but there are people that are just good enough that succeed. They still find a way. They're just gamers. Kelly Slater is one of those. I think it's such a fascinating sport. Also, you're in incredible weather with, beautiful beaches and beautiful people. That's my answer. At some point in my life, I will be surfing probably for the rest of my life. This is a great one. Are you afraid that as you age, your fire or desire for lifting will go away? I'll be turning 36 in April, and I've been lifting for 10 years. And I find as I age, I don't care much for it, and I just go through the motions. Well, I don't worry about that. Look, if you are older, it's like, what are you really trying to get out of this? I have taken breaks from lifting where I will just go to the gym and get like a 20-minute workout and get out. Like, I still want to do it because I feel as though like I'm checking off something that's easy for me to do. But what's cool is like there are aspects of fitness that like aren't just like taking pre-workout, going to the gym and coming back. Like, one of the aspects of fitness is like, let me see if I can change up my nutrition a little bit. Just have fun with it. Like, make my nutrition my Super Bowl. Whereas a lot of times people make their training their Super Bowl. Like, take the pre-workout, get fired up, train your ass off, and then relax when you come home. Like, what if you kind of were like, I really want to take my nutrition seriously and eat really healthy. And then like, you know, if I train, that's fine. If I don't, that's fine. Right? I'll find a way to get active today. I'll go for a walk with my dog, or an extra long walk, or I'll go do some push-ups or something, but it doesn't really matter that much. I love that idea of fitness. And I think a lot of people should start thinking more along those lines, especially more experienced lifters. I like the idea of new lifters being like, I'm going to go fucking hard in the gym and just go, go, go. And then, you know, learning things and learning from new people and just being obsessed. As long as that fire goes away, but it's able to come back in some way. Or they want to go do CrossFit, or they want to go do powerlifting. Like, changing things up like that in your training are very important, but also understanding that like fitness is a massive global thing. It encompasses nutrition, sleep, you know, just straight up like social, like you hanging out with friends is fitness. It's like good for your brain. It reduces cortisol. Like, how good are you as a person? Like, so many different things. Like, you could, honest to God, you could like work on your chess. And this sounds crazy, but like you could get better at chess and like have better fitness. If things were, you know, if other parts of your life were getting better or in a right place. So that's my answer to that, is like audit the way that you experience fitness or think about fitness. What's your least favorite thing about working in the online fitness space? I would say that the algorithm is. That's my least favorite thing. It rewards a lot of dumb shit, and it rewards a lot of shit that like seems really remedial at times. And that made me just then sound like the biggest fucking snob ever. But I could honestly, I've seen people with videos like, this is a hinge, and they hinge. This is a squat, and then they squat, and it's got like a bajillion million views. And it's like, man, are people, is that going to help people? It might, whatever. But I'm trying to think of things that are like very applicable to people that they can do now that like maybe they haven't heard before. I'm trying to rethink things, especially around the barbell and barbell training, different ideas. And that's what fascinates me. And that's what I try to bring to people in like somewhat of a creative way. And there's like really no rewarding for that. You know, there is, I'm talking my guys, you guys right here that are watching this, you guys reward me by being like, yo, this is fucking exactly what I want. I'm like, hell yeah. That's why I do it, right? But to reach a massive audience, that's not going to happen with my style of coaching and training and thought around it. And that is absolutely my least favorite part about it. Like, proliferating in the space, you must be sexy and you must dumb down things. That sucks a lot. That fucking sucks for me to say that, but that is how I feel. What was your dream job growing up? Huge fan from Rwanda. That's awesome. This is a global, I love it. My dream job was being a director. I always knew that I wanted to be in production. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be an artist. So the coolest thing about YouTube is that I get to do that. I get to be a director. I get to create things. I get to create video. Obviously, with the help of my editor, Alex, like this is all possible. But yeah, that's how I started. I was obsessed with editing, shooting and editing videos since I was about 14 years old. I went to school for film. I went to film school while I was playing lacrosse at the University of Vermont. And I was just lucky enough to fall into something like this, where that's what I get to do, is produce videos. Do you miss competing in weightlifting and all of the intense training that goes with it? I will always miss being a full-time weightlifter, because there is something fucked up about it. Waking up at like 8, 9 in the morning, eating 6 eggs and some carbs, going and training, coming back home, laying down, eating some more, maybe making a fucking YouTube video, going back to the gym in the evening, training my ass off, eating, and then sleeping. And like doing that. If you guys want to know how I ended up snatching 315 pounds and clean and jerking near 400, that was it. It was a crazy time in my life. And I only really did it for like 6 or 7 months straight. Other than that, I just was weightlifting. I was just training like a normal person would. But when Dylan came and when Sam was living in my house, that's when I did it. And I will always kind of miss that a little bit. But here's the problem. When I do these things, I'm not good at YouTube. I'm not good at making money. I'm not good at living like a normal person. And it's like, that's the trade-off. That's what it takes to be an athlete, like, is to just not be really good at anything else. And so what I've found now is like, it's much more important to me to enjoy what I do all day, every day, which is like worry about making YouTube videos and worry about creating and helping my audience out. Worrying about that is what gives me joy. And then also, if I can, be able to train really hard at the same time. No, I won't be in shape like I was before, and that's fine, but that is the trade-off. All right, what are your goals for the channel? Do you have any big collaborations, or what are your plans for the future? You know, like I said before, my plans or my goal is just to get better, a little bit better every single time. You know, big collaborations are always on the horizon. I've got nothing really planned. Obviously, I do. I'm going to Japan with Clarence and Owen from Sika Strength. Owen and actually Fitz is coming too. We're going to Japan and we're going to train with Toshiki Yamamoto. I can't believe I said I didn't have any major plans. That's one of them. But you know, like there's so many different people I can collaborate with because my network has expanded. So I don't really have like anything planned on the horizon, but I just always feel as though if I wanted to, I could just bounce out and go do something. And that's something I definitely want to do moving forward. Like hitting 200,000 subscribers, something that's going to move the needle for me is to go out and learn things and go do things with other people, which I definitely want to do. Personally, we are still working on getting this movie shot. We're going to take 2 weeks. Right now, the plan is the first 2 weeks in May. We're going to take 2 weeks and we're going to shoot this thing. It might actually be the 2nd or 3rd week of May, but we're going to get it done in May. Hopefully. I mean, like, we're down to the wire here. And we have everything set that we need to. If you guys don't know what movie I'm talking about, it's something that I've been working on for a while with a guy named Adam Shiner, who's the director and the writer and the producer of it. It's something that I'm producing and I am actually going to act in. So that's something that's really intense. I'll be taking a break from YouTube when I go and do this thing. But that's one of the major things that I can think of. I'm going to leave you guys with that. And if you're still watching, thank you so much. There's one more story that I want to tell you. When I started this channel, like I said, it was growing really slowly, and I started to do remote coaching. And it was a great opportunity for me to take this small, very small niche market and coach. And one of the guys that I had coached for was an amazing man. He was a master's lifter and he moved really well. But he was just such a nice dude. And he was such a great person to work with. I started to do seminars and he was like, you know what? I want you to come out to my gym where I train. And so I booked a seminar there and he picked me up from the airport. But not only picked me up, he like waited in the waiting area, like in the baggage claim. And he was wearing my ZT shirt, which I only printed like 25 of them. They were like these old school ZT shirts from like 6 years ago. And he was wearing it in the airport. And he put me up in a hotel. He paid for the hotel. He did all of these things for me. He was genuinely a fan and genuinely loved weightlifting and loved the stuff that I was doing for weightlifting. After that seminar, we worked with each other a little bit longer, and then he kind of moved on from weightlifting. We still kept in touch, and he reached out to me about a year after that, and he said, I have been diagnosed with brain cancer. And it shocked me. He's like, no, man, we're good. We got this thing figured out. His attitude around it was just unbelievable. It was amazing. And he started this Slack channel where he was able to tell people his journey. He went to Mayo Clinic. He would go on hikes with his kids, even though he was going through chemo. He even started to get back on the barbell. I remember we talked on the phone a bunch. And at some point, we kind of just lost touch a little bit. And I messaged him. I said, hey, Songy, just thinking about you. I hope you're doing all right. And I just had a sinking feeling that night that like something was off and he had actually passed away. And I didn't know. And I think the craziest thing is like how much of an impact that this man had on my life simply because he cared about what I was doing on a level that like I didn't even think was fucking possible, dude. And he has two kids, two wonderful kids. This life is wild, man. It's wild. It's crazy. The people that I met, the people that I know, it's just something that it's just so palpable and it's so like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a part of something special and I feel like I'm part of something amazing and it's all because of you guys. So I know, 200,000 subscribers is not much to the typical, massive YouTuber these days, but it means fucking everything to me. And I appreciate you guys so much for watching. And I just want to keep going, man. I want to keep going. I want to fucking do this shit forever. I love you guys. Seriously. Thank you.